Hey everyone, today I'm gonna review SAWKILL GIRLS by Claire Legrand. I received an ARC of this through Edelweiss in exchange for an honest review, and this book is released on October 2nd. SAWKILL GIRLS is a YA fantasy standalone, and it is about an island where for the last few decades girls have been disappearing, and there's this whole story about this mysterious evil who has been stealing away these girls, and that evil is like undefeatable. And so on this island the fate of 3 girls comes together, and they might be the only hope for this island. This novel is super mysterious and dark and creepy, and I don't want to tell you anything else. Like, I went into this basically knowing nothing about it. All I know is that Claire Legrand at some point said that this is about like girls helping girls, girls being friends with girls, girls loving girls, something like that. And that is all that I knew. And I think that is the absolute best way to go into this novel. This is hard to explain anyway, so this is all I could give you. So this was a strange little novel for me. I almost DNF'd this because I could feel that this wouldn't really be for me. The storyline and the whole setting, it was not my type of story when it comes to that. But I also did think that it was super intriguing, and I did realize like I constantly wanted to continue, like I wanted to solve the mystery about this island and about this evil thing. And so I really I kept going because I wanted to know. And I'm so glad that I did decide to keep going, because at its very core, this story is so feminist, and it is about girls loving girls and girls being friends with girls and girls helping girls, and I love that so much. So let's talk about diversity. So the 3 girls that are at the center of this story, they also all have their own POV. The first one is Val, and she is queer. We know that in the past she had relationships with guys, and during this novel she is in a relationship with a girl. Then we have Marion, who is plus size and also queer, and it's also mentioned that she had crushes on both guys and girls in the past. And then we also have Zoe, who is black and asexual. I definitely thought that these 3 characters absolutely, and like a lot of the minor characters too, but they really carried this story. As I said, the setting is like very strange, but it's also like very intense. It's very interesting. It's very intriguing. And you definitely read on because you want to know what's up with the mystery, but the story is carried by the characters. And if I had not been so invested with these characters, then I don't think I would have been able to actually finish this. What I like about this is that I think this is one of those stories where you will probably find yourself relating to at least one of the girls. Like, you will find one of those like relatable or just really seeing yourself in the character, and I always really like that. I really like when, you know, a story gives us different kind of girls and you being able to hopefully relate to one of them. I just think in general the way that these characters develop throughout the story, but also how they develop their relationships and the friendship, is so great. Like, really, this story starts out with these 3 girls not really knowing each other / hating each other, and so throughout this novel they really come together, and it's so great to see the friendship between them develop and to see how they realize that they are stronger together. Like, there's this huge theme in there of men just having this or general society having this stereotypical view of girls and how they are constantly fighting and always moody and everything. This book just really fights against that, and it shows that if we stick together, we are so fucking strong. And I love that. I love that so much. It just went against what society tells us to be, how society tells us to behave, and who they think we are, and all of this kind of stuff. And I love that so much. And that is really, really, really what got me about this novel. I don't really care about the storyline and the setting and the evil. I don't give a shit, quite honestly. What really got me is this relationship, this friendship between these 3 girls, and how they kind of learned to work together throughout, like, the odds were not in their favor. Like, there was so much stuff going on, but they knew that they had to be there for each other, that they had to trust each other, even through some of the not so great things that, like, stood in their way. They knew that the only way they could, you know, defeat this evil or, like, just survive this whole situation was to stick together. And I just loved how this was just such a strong theme in this novel. There was also a really beautiful female romance in this novel. This relationship meant a whole bunch to me, and I think that it's gonna mean a whole lot to so many other people out there. It's so well written, it's so beautiful. Like, just the way this relationship starts, but then how it develops and how intense it is. And I love this so much. This was probably, like, one of my favorite female romances that I've ever read. And this also had a really wonderful sex scene. I do like to point this out because I find it really important, especially if it is a sex scene between, you know, not like a male and a female. I do find these really important too, especially if they, you know, portray consent and everything. But this was such a well-written sex scene between two girls, and it made me so happy. I thought it was so important. Like, it's not explicit, but it also doesn't fade into black. It's very clear what is going on, and I just love that, and I think that is so important. And I really hope that YA continues to have sex scenes that are not fading into black for every kind of relationship. Now, when it comes to the ace representation, I can't really speak for that as I am not ace. I would say that overall the representation was well done, and I especially just think that there was a really important conversation around being ace and about having a relationship when you're ace, and, like, this is really like a topic that gets talked about, and it gets talked about with a love interest, and I thought that was so important. And honestly, representation that I haven't really seen too much. I mean, I haven't read that many books with ace characters, but I just really love the conversation that was in this book about being with someone when you're ace and that person is not ace. All of these things, I thought that was really well done, but as I said, I can't speak for anyone, you know, who's actually ace. I can't really say if the representation overall was good. What I can say is that there is a really horrible ace-phobic comment in this book. Now, it is immediately challenged and it is apologized for several times, but it is definitely hurtful. Like, I can only imagine how it must feel to read this comment. I do think that you have to go into this with a lot of caution if you're ace. I'm honestly not sure how I feel about this. Like, as I said, it's immediately challenged and apologized for, but I still don't really know if the comment was necessary. I'm gonna say it quite honestly. Just please tread carefully going into this, but as I said, it is challenged and apologized for, and I think it's overall handled well. I just thought that it was a lot. As the book is in general, like, there's a whole bunch of trigger warnings and content warnings, and I will leave the link to my Goodreads review in the description so you can check them all out. It has sexual abuse in there, but I just think that in general the kind of threat of sexual assault, like, almost constantly hangs in the air. Like, it's just always there for me personally. Like, I just had this constant feeling of doom while reading this, so definitely be cautious with that. It had parental abuse, there was a lot of blood and gore and murder, and it was very gruesome, so definitely, you know, like, this is horror, okay? Like, it is YA fantasy, and, you know, it does deal at its core with this topic of, like, feminism and everything, but it's super creepy. That said, it is a perfect read for October, for Halloween time. There couldn't be a more perfect time for this to be released, and I think if you are looking for a Halloween read that is a little bit different, that is creepy and horror and fits the season, but deals with so much more at its core, then I'd highly recommend SAWKILL GIRLS. For me, the setting and the creepiness and the horror was just a small aspect of the novel. What really got me like emotionally was the female power in there, and how much this showed that if us girls just stick together, we are the strongest fucking force out there. So yeah, these are my thoughts on SAWKILL Girls by Claire Legrand. If you've already read the book, I want to know your thoughts on it. And I mean, it does come out on Tuesday, but if you're excited for it, I want to hear all of your excitement. And yeah, I make new videos on Wednesday and Sunday with occasional reviews on Friday. So hit subscribe to never miss anything and hit the little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!